All right, welcome in everybody. Episode 1 of the Basketball SiXO's show, and I've kind of put this series off. If you guys that follow me on Twitter or X, whatever the hell it is now, you guys have followed me there for a while. You guys know that I've kind of been talking about this for maybe a month, if not longer. Got a bunch of requests a while ago, like do a series talking about specific concepts, stuff like that. So I wanted to wait off for the perfect time, especially now the Lakers out of the playoffs. I was like, I really wanted to kick off the series with a bang, and the show is Basketball Sickos, and I feel like the guest, my first guest for this series, is a basketball sicko himself, my guy Tim, Cranjis McBasketball, all over on Twitter. One of the best in the game, can really break down the game at a really stupid high level. Tim, my guy, welcome in. You do a bunch of great work, obviously, and I'm honored to have you on for the first episode.
I appreciate it, Sean. I am diseased when it comes to when it comes to the X's and O's of the game, and really happy to be here. This is going to be a blast. This is one of the Lakers' go-to series of plays last season and this season, and I don't want to see it go away, even if Darvin will go away. But this is a good one that I think is a staple in the game at all levels and will be for years to come.
Yeah, so I might have just spoiled what I was planning here, and I did not warn you about this beforehand. So I'm kind of going to put you on the spot here. So we're going to start things off a little bit with some fun before we really dive into some of the double draft concepts. I'm going to put you on the spot here, Tim. You ready?
Okay.
So I have a fast draw right here, and I'm going to put you on the clock, or put you on the spot rather. Down 3, 3 seconds left. What are you drawing up here? Sideline out of bounds. You need a 3, obviously, to tie the game, send it overtime. We could be the Lakers, for example. So you have a roster to work with.
Oh, Jesus. Okay. It's starting off with the bang for sure. All right. Cool. Okay, wait. So it's the 2023-24 Lakers with all that entails. Okay. I guess give me the starting lineup, but yeah, fine. Give me the starting lineup. We'll put. Damn it. I want Austin inbounding. I was not prepared for this. I want Austin. Which side of the court are we on?
I'll let you pick. It doesn't matter. I'll let you pick.
Okay. I don't know. Let's do left side, I guess. We'll have the 2 Austin inbounding. I mean. Let's throw. Damn, dude. Okay, I need a 3.
So we have Austin Reeves inbounding, left side out of bounds.
Yep. It would be such a cop out for me to just drop winner right now.
I know.
Which I also feel like is a play that a lot of teams are ready for these days. Like that caught everybody off guard a little while ago, but not right now.
Yeah.
So let's do this. Let's stick LeBron the 4 at the strong side block and D'Lo at the weak side block.
Okay.
I want my 3 to actually be Taurean Prince, and he's gonna go strong side, like slot, I guess.
Strong side slot, so
like lane line extended, yeah. And then 80 will be the other guy. He'll be on the opposite side.
Cool.
Okay, so we're gonna start this off with it looking like winner. So I want D'Lo cross screening for Braun, and I want that lob passed into the weak block.
D'Lo cross screen for Braun. Braun plays over the top. 1 sec, trying to delete that. Cool. And then AR, we want AR to make this pass to Braun.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna change this color so that we don't get confused. Let's make it. I don't think that's purple. Actually, it kind of is. So cool.
Okay. I've actually changed my mind a little bit. I want Rui where
for Taurean.
Well, hang on a second. I'm coming up with this on the fly. All right, I know what I want to do. I just need to figure out how to set it up best.
Right.
No, this is fine. This is okay.
Okay.
So from here, we'll get 80 setting that cross screen for Taurean, but this isn't what we're gonna try to hit.
Right.
Instead of this, I want D'Lo setting a hammer flare for Reeves, and then D'Lo spacing out to the wing.
So just making sure. So we do want Torian to flare off.
So we do want this. We do want this.
Okay, I like
everybody
that.
in the world is going to expect that. So now after D'Lo sets the screen, he's inside the 3-point line.
So
his man's probably thinking about defending the Braun inbound. Yeah, so this is perfect. So from here, I want hammer flare for. You know what? Should we? Maybe we should just kind of change personnel. Yeah, let's make that Torian, and.
Or actually, wait, hear me out. Would you make this D'Lo and make D'Lo the passer still? And make maybe the cross screener Austin.
Make that Austin, and then Prince same spot. Yeah, this is better. And then maybe realistically, you actually maybe flip the side of the court you'd want this to happen on. Sure. I don't know which shoulder D'Lo is better coming off of.
Yeah.
As a lefty, he could drain that.
He could drain that.
And then after Austin sets that screen. Because, again, the defense might freak out. He'll just pop out to where D'Lo is standing. Because we need a 3, again.
Yeah.
My thinking here is, as I said earlier, everybody in the world is expecting this ball to go to Torian Prince. D'Lo's man, after he inbounds the ball, may just be ball watching. Austin's man, after the ball gets inbounded, may just be ball watching. And... so I think that hammer flare might be there, and Braun can definitely hit that pass, and D'Lo can definitely hit that shot. And if both defenders go with D'Lo, Austin might be available.
Yeah, I think a big key of this working, like you said, is as soon as Braun gets this, like you said, everybody and their mom knows that is expecting winner. So Austin, who is the cross screen guy, his man is absolutely falling asleep, trying to call out this action up top, and actually. I think if anything, if it's possible, do you think you can make the AD cross screen for Torian almost not exactly simultaneous because it'd be really, really hard to pull off. But as soon as the AD cross screen happens for Torian, bang, bang, very next second, oh shit, it's D'Lo getting the hammer screen from Austin.
You want it to be as bang, bang as possible. And I mean, if you want to throw a little cherry on top, you can try to kind of flip that Torian screen again with AD following it, kind of like some Ricky action there. Sure. Kind of like a sort of a wiper sort of situation. I might be going a little over the top there, but yeah, no, I think the timing is really important. This is a play that I haven't run before and just came up with right now. So I don't know exactly what the keys to that timing would be, but yeah, if you can Braun get the ball in, Austin's, cracking D'Lo's guys back with that screen. If either D'Lo's guy or Austin's guy aren't paying attention, one of the two of them should be open. And you draw up Reeves kind of going up to the slot on that left side of the court. I don't just get to the 3-point line and turn around because you might be open. I don't want him having to travel too far with his back to Braun.
Yeah, like it might be, that's a good point. It might be honestly right here. Like literally just refilling where D'Lo's at. Just more
exactly. That's what I had in mind.
Yeah.
All right, so what do you think?
I like it. I like it a lot. I think the kind of misdirection and like using what the other team is suspecting to happen to your advantage. There's a really freaking cool. Obviously, the like Mike D'Antoni Phoenix set that Golden State used this against Memphis in the playoffs 2 years ago. Sean, just add the clip here in post. I probably have it clipped out on Synergy. It's like box alignment. I've drawn this up so many times. It's Let's see. Okay, we are fully diving in here. Hold on.
This is the time and this is the place.
Yes.
Definitely show this to the people.
So this is my team essentially. So let me just kind of go back here and kind of take some of this stuff off. All right. So you have the shooter you're trying to get the ball for opposite elbow. You have your best player kind of be used as a decoy. So Golden State use Steph here as a decoy. Ball side slot, you have a screener, not the main screener, but you have a screener opposite slot, and then the screener for the shooter, ball side elbow. So what happens is so for us, it's our point guard. I would have him go through all the way through, like to the rim almost. And what we're banking on here is for his man to go with them and our big who's at the elbow to sink in and try to like tag on him almost. And then we'll have the opposite slot man. He goes through and he screens X5. So our big's man, he screens his man. And then X5, he comes across, he screens for the shooter, and he gets a wide open shot. Clay, like I said, they got this off against Memphis. Clay, in real time, could have just shot it, but he decided to take a shot fake, one dribble left, and ultimately hit the three. This is in game 1 of that Memphis series. So I freaking love this play. I haven't been able to use it yet. So hopefully nobody on my face is watching this, but I love this play. And if you didn't go with that one, if I can really quickly go back and find it, if you didn't go with that one, then the one that you drew up, then I would have been advocating for that. It's a super fun play, and it's a great way to like use your own best player as a like decoy, if you will.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I like it. I think that's a good one. And it's almost kind of like a wedge ball screen where you are just making sure that the ultimate screener for the scorer isn't like his man isn't able to be there because they've got another screen to deal with. And I love that you've got the cut at the very start to set it up just to give you that extra space in between. Yeah. So there's like multiple layers to just setting up that one screen to be available. Does that end up having any not super important, but I'm curious, do you have any other second options there, or is it we are going all in trying to get this one guy that one shot? Because you end up with a lot of guys inside the 3-point line.
Yeah, we're kind of going all in trying to get that one guy the shot, which actually that's probably a perfect situation. Like if you have an extra timeout, like I probably wouldn't draw that up down 3 and I'm using my last timeout for it. I probably want something with another action involved to it where, okay, we don't get the main thing, but we have this that's a secondary action out of it. That's probably okay. We really want to go to this. We have an extra timeout, so if it's like 4 Mississippi, okay, ref timeout. Let's draw something else up here. But you're probably just really looking for that 3.
Yeah, it's a sick play, and I like that it won't matter what the defense is in too. Like it doesn't matter if they're switching or not switching. That is often a big question when you're drawing things up. I see teams draw stuff up where they were planning on the defense switching and then they don't, and then it's a problem, or vice versa. Yeah. With what you've done, you don't have to worry about that. Yeah, and that's really smart.
Yeah. All right, let's get into the nitty gritty of what we're here for. So let's get into the double drag stuff. And first things first, I really just want to talk about like the basic double drag ball screen, some of the reasons why it works and how it can be effective. And I think one of the cool things that I think more teams are doing now, Tim, is that they'll essentially have the big or the second screener leak and not have them actually set an actual screen. Those kind of have them slip right away. I think we see it here in this first clip with Luka and the Mavs. No, this is a little wrong clip, but the Heat switched this one, and Luke Bam Adebayo kind of just switches underneath. Luke is able to hit the pull up 3. Tim, if I told you that one of, if not the most important factors in double drag ball screens working is your on ball, your ball handler being able to be a threat from 3, would you agree with that? Or would you pick something else?
I would agree with that. I think that's everything. Well, I mean, of course, with everything, you want to screen well, right? Like you actually have to make contact. You've got to create that advantage to start with. But this concept as a weapon is so much more deadly when you have that on-ball gravity with the pull-up 3-point shot, because really the value of this play is how you're aligning your players and the fact that you're taking both of the other team's big man defenders and pulling them so far away from the rim, which if you can then draw 2, you can draw that hedge. Now, instead of a 4v3 off ball, you've got a 3v2 off ball.
Yeah. And this is a good situation. There was a clip, a couple clips ago of Derek Lively just slipping right away. But double drag early in the possession, 18 seconds on the clock. And what Onyeka Okongwu does is instead of actually making contact with Kawhi Leonard, he just, like I said, immediately just leaves right away. And I think what this does for an offense, now Mason Plumlee, it's Mason Plumlee. Mason Plumlee is in a way tougher situation. And quite frankly, it's kind of a bad spot to pause. If Paul George doesn't tag on the roll, that lob is wide open because of Onyeka Okongwu just leaking right away. Where, I mean, I guess you could say the same thing could just happen if he actually did set the body-to-body screen. But Tim, how do you think it matters really whether or not the big just sets the screen or just, like I said, leaks right away? Or do you have a preference?
So if the first screen is able to create the advantage and my ball handler's defender is now on his hip or his back, I want my second guy to go, because at that point you're not really screening anybody. Like the guy's already been screened. There's no point now. Here they switch and it's still fine, because the other piece of this is when you do slip that big man out of there, he's able to really get going downhill while your ball handler is able to attack with pace, and you're not worried about your ball handler beating the guy to the rim. So I think just the order of operations there can be important and makes it easier for the ball handler to read that play. And like you said, putting Plumlee in such a tough spot with him backpedaling, having to deal with a lob threat, but also knowing that the guy with the ball is a big weapon. So I prefer them to slip out of there if the first screen has worked. If the first screen has not worked, I'd rather they stick around and actually create that advantage, because if the first screen doesn't work and the second screener slips and the on-ball defender is able to just stay right on him and stay in front, you haven't done anything. I think that's why it matters to me, and why there's almost a built-in option with it that you want to coach the big man up on.
So I think going back to the effectiveness of like having your ball handler being able to knock down, be a liable 3-point threat, and why that's so important. Tim, obviously the past 2 seasons, you've done an excellent job like tracking every single half-court Lakers offensive possession. And one of the big things that you brought up a ton last season, so 2022-2023 season, was if you look at like the Lakers, and by the way, half-court possession, I want to clarify for the Lakers, like for the entire NBA, that'd be kind of insane. And I don't think anybody has that type of time. But one of the things you brought up a ton last season is the difference in efficiency for the Lakers double drag offense when it was D'Angelo Russell, who wasn't the best pick and roll 3-point shooter last season, but still the difference when it was D'Angelo Russell running it and Dennis Schroeder running it, because Dennis Schroeder, teams are just more liable to go under, and that can be a way potentially to, especially if you're like under and you're still at the level of the ball, the possession with Bam Adebayo, he's way below the line of the ball, so Lucas is able to get a shot up there. I'm really glad again that you did bring that up, and that is something that does matter a ton when you talk about double drag offense.
Yeah, it's an important factor, and we saw that like with Russell Westbrook as well. He and Dennis are both guys that you can kind of go under against. Like you don't really have to worry about that pull-up game, and because of that, in this action, we saw when the Lakers ran this, like again, 2022, 2023 with Russell Westbrook, the Lakers only scored 0.88 points per possession. That is not good offense, even for the half court. With Dennis, it was a bit better, 0.96, but with D'Lo, it was over a 1.5. And I know he wasn't there for the full season. This isn't the largest sample size in the world, but he was there for a decent bit of time, and we saw it be really, really effective. And it's because he's able to draw too, and now suddenly we've got a numbers advantage. And to me, basketball is a draw, help, beat, help sort of game, and he is the type of guy that automatically has that built-in draw help component to him.
Yeah. And I think he had 5 threes this game, 3 threes off of this set, which is, again, really effective set. So again, double drag stagger. So this is just a setup for us. How we did it personally, Tim, I'm curious your thoughts. We did obviously 2 bigs, double drag, but as our ball handler goes off the now strong side corner, we send him through. One that sets up a built-in counter for us, but also now we have a clear side for a point guard who can drive both ways. And if we don't get the shot for the shooter, or if our point guard feels like he has an advantage, he's just able to attack that baseline where he probably has his defender out of place. So possession here, he ironically, the corner guy does a terrible job of just doing his job, but okay enough screen, and now our shooter is wide open for a pretty good look for him. Again, same set. This time we do get the backdoor. The on-ball defender does a much better job. They are way late on the screen, but again, doesn't really matter. The team we're playing does a really bad job at chasing. Now, this is the counter, and Tim, I'm really excited to get your thoughts on the counter. So, same setup. Again, the shooter, he's now hit 2-3 in a row, right? So as a defense, if you're not like locking and chasing or being more aggressive with him at this point, I mean, like good for us, I guess. But so now they're obviously starting to play more aggressive, and this is another good shooter for us. He goes back door. They're chasing him for sure this time. And I'll zoom in a little bit more on it. Chases all the way around. He just clears all the way through. And the guy we sent back door, we just send him all the way around off the same stagger, and he gets a wide open three. Before we get to some, like, I got obviously more NBA clips, but well, talk to me about your thoughts about like just double drag stagger, for example.
So I'm stealing what you just showed me because that is incredible. And I love that. And I love that you've got the blind pig action kind of built in there. You've got the stagger and you curl that. You get like, that is so smart. I love that so much. In general, double drag stagger for me is a nice look if, I guess, in one of two scenarios. If you've got that movement shooter, it can get them good looks. And especially if the defense is in drop coverage or some sort of coverage that allows you to hang on to the ball a little bit. If they're blitzing you and you've got to get it out quickly, this takes too long to develop. So hard hedge blitz, this is not the way to go. But if you can get, a little bit of time, let that action develop, it's a really good way to operate. Now, even if you don't have the best movement shooter, another nice built-in part of this concept is the fact that you take 6 of the 10 players on the court and give them something else to do. And I see how, you guys clear out that guy on the strong side, but even if you don't, it's strong side corner defender is the only real guy that can help if you are looking to attack downhill and that dropping defender does stay home on that shooting action. So it's a nice way to get somebody just attacking 1v1 in the middle of the court with a lot of the other players on the court just kind of out of the way. Or as you guys use it, like it's a great fit for your personnel and yield some really nice shots. So I like that. I like the veer option where there's just the one screen instead of both. I think we'll talk about that later. But this is one that you want to, again, you got to screen well. You want to attack with some pace. And if you can draw 2 on the ball, you've got a 2v1 with that stagger and can get some really good looks.
Yeah. Here's some examples of we just clear out that side, our point guard. Again, I should have been more on the blind pig guy more. He sucks at doing his job of just clearing out. But here's the Lakers running it. I really clipped this out. They don't get the action right away, but the pace that which they run this with is super fun. And you kind of go like a flip action right back to D'Lo. And then it eventually flows into Braun and Anthony Davis, just 2-man game in on the right side of the floor. AD's such an effective role, man. Austin, I like the shake by Austin. Quick, just like little note there. AD gets the and one. And again, this time against the Nets, D'Lo's going to be able, he's going to get this. He's going to get another ball screen from Braun, be able to attack and get to his mid-range game. This is super, super effective. This is probably one of my favorite clips I found from LA doing it, where they get it. Spencer Dinwiddie immediately gets rid of it. He swings it to Max in the corner. Max is able to attack to close out. Defense collapses. Probably one of Max's better plays, honestly, with the ball in his hands this season. And D'Lo finds a wide open three. So yeah, I think when it's executed correctly, I think it's really, really just hard to guard, like you mentioned, especially if you have a movement shooter. And I kind of wish LA went to this. I know this is one of the actions you were calling for a lot earlier in the year, where the Lakers just didn't want to run drop coverage beating actions. It is super effective. I do wish the Lakers had ran it a lot more earlier on in the season.
Yeah, it was a top concept for them, or I guess Double Drag itself was a top series for them of plays like 2 seasons, I guess last season, not this one that just ended. This year it was a little bit lower down, and for much of the year they did not have much in terms of drop beating concepts in the playbook, and so that was an issue. And D'Lo really picked it up in terms of his pull-up three-point shooting out of ball screens, and Austin did a really good job throughout the year, but wasn't the highest volume. And so if D'Lo wasn't taking those, and for much of like the first half of the season, I think only 18% of his pick and roll shots were threes. They weren't, the built-in drop beating concepts with the pull-up threes, the pick and pops, which, AD not the best pick and pop three-point shooting option most years. LA just didn't have that. And so adding in double drag Oklahoma, double drag Veer, those are some ways to, keep running what you're running, just tweak it a little bit, and it takes what the defense is giving you. It sounds like y'all know what you're doing and attack well. And I love to see teams attacking coverages. And this is one major way to do it. I know the Lakers this year also really frustrated me when they ran this. They seem to always just kind of jog through it.
Yeah,
And
that's another big thing. I think just with offense in general, like if you jog through it and don't play with any pace whatsoever, it's probably not going to work.
yeah, that there was a lot of missed opportunity with like they run the right play, this play specifically, and just not run it with any purpose.
Yeah,
It almost felt
that's
like
a
they were
better word.
never trying to score off of the stagger,
Yeah.
and so they didn't. And yeah, so but there is a lot that you can do with this, and it is a really good concept.
All right, so let's move on to another one. I feel like I'm gonna say this for all of these because I do love like double drag stuff. But double drag shallow, this is a stupid fun concept out of the double drag series. Golden State is kind of notorious for it. So ball screen to make this work, you really need the second guy, the second screener to be a shooter. You just have like this shallow cut. Jonathan Kuminga rolls a bit late, but Clay gets a wide open three out of it. This is last season, so 22-23. This is this season now, flashing forward. Trace Jackson Davis is now the screener, and you have Klay Thompson again, still being the second screener. He's going to be the shallow cut guy. Clay almost gets a wide open three, but Derek White has to close out recklessly, and Klay Thompson now gets a wide open driving lane, drop off dunk to Trace Jackson Davis. This is a big staple of Utah's playbook as well, where they love this action for Lauri Markkanen. Lauri Markkanen gets an open three here. Tim, out of double drag shallow, and looking ahead there to Veer. But Tim, what are your thoughts about just double drag shallow, how it works, and why it can be so effective?
It's fun because it's effectively like a ghost screen with traffic, and it's usually when you're running this, like the first screener's defender doesn't really have a job. It's usually that second screener defender that's looking to either hedge or get in drop or switch onto the ball handler. And that first screener defender, he's just chilling. He's sticking with his guy. And so he's usually not on point when it comes to trying to help or being aware, or even closing out to that shooter that spaces out. So if you get two on the ball, it's effectively a ghost screen, open three. If they just kind of leave and there's no contain whatsoever, you can try to turn the corner with this. And so it really puts the defense into conflict. And because you have the other two defenders spaced out in the corners so much with your shooters out there, you can, one mistake from the defense can give you some really high quality looks.
Yeah. Again, super effective action. I love that how Golden State uses this action a ton. This is weirdly a play that I don't have in my playbook. Well, actually, no, we do. We set up out of horns, though, where I don't know if you're familiar with how Creighton runs this. I don't know if they did this year, but they've run it in the past where they go like elbow entry and then they swing it back out. And then the big, maybe I'll just have to draw this up. The big fakes at a screen for the opposite elbow guy out of horns. The opposite guy, he's a shooter, and then it just flows into double drag shallow where the guy just shallow cuts out. It's it's
okay.
fun. I have to try to find the clip and add it here, but there was another play we stole and added to our playbook. We didn't use it a ton this season because the stuff we did have was already super effective and we didn't really need to, but it's a super fun concept. Just shallow action in general, I think is really, really fun.
So you're saying the elbow man would take a couple steps towards the other elbow guy, as if he was going to screen, but then just turns around and it turns into double drag?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. And then you got the shallow one.
But it's on an empty side. So when I throw it in to the elbow dude, that triggers the ball side corner guy to clear out.
Gotcha.
And then that way we get on an empty side of the floor. Damn, we should have ran that more.
I like it. Well, and that's nice too, because that fits it fits well into what the Lakers will run, where they hit the elbow man, he dribbles at the corner, and you get that empty side handoff with the stagger weak, or you might get the back cut off of that. So this gives you for a half second that look as you back cut and that guy clears out, and then if it's not there, you just flow right into what you were talking about instead of being like, oh, they guarded the play. What do we do now?
Yeah, absolutely. All right, double drag beer, another fun concept. Tim, I want you to walk me through this one, your thoughts here. So I have a couple of clips from LA running it this year. So just walk me through your thought process here on this play. This is against Orlando really early in the season. As you guys can see the score here, they're getting clobbered. So Tim, I'm curious to have you walk us through here.
Yeah, so this is another good drop beater, and it's similar to double drag shallow because you were getting a down screen for a shooter in the corner after oh, wait, hang on. Okay. Maybe did I label this play wrong? I might have labeled this play wrong.
I have another possession where it is actually from the corner.
Okay. When I generally think double drag veer, I'm thinking two
From the
screeners,
corner.
one of them actually rolls, and then the other one will set that screen for the guy in the corner. And
This is the possession I think you're talking
yeah,
about.
here we go. Here we go. Yeah. So you're getting that down screen for the corner, just like with the stagger, but you also have hopefully a lob threat rolling to the rim. So instead of only kind of two options, ball handler or shooter, you've got ball handler, shooter, or a roll man.
Did LeBron just get blocked by DeAndre Jordan?
It looks like he may have. Let's see.
This is a much better example.
Here we go. Yeah, and Phoenix defends this well. They took care of each of those options. Is that Wenyan? Yeah, he's not the best, post up a switch sort of guy. That was defended well.
So I think this is this is gotta be something we're gonna talk about later. But obviously, one of the defensive counters to double drag, and one of the things, like, again, going back to my team, when I know that you're going to run it against me, so we'll split up teams, whatever. I'll coach a team, or other offensive guy, he'll coach another team. If I know they're running it, I'm trying to yell out to our defense, ice it, because that is I think an obvious counter for just basically not allow the guy to use the screen. And right here, like Scottie Pippen Jr., is that TJ Warren for Phoenix? He just jumps out, and honestly, but Scottie Pippen Jr. just shoved on here. It's just, okay, cool. You want to ice the screen? Cool. I'll just reject it, not force the screen. I'm just gonna go attack this guy. I think that's I honestly can't tell with the jersey not being shown, but I'm just gonna attack downhill, force the strong side corner dude to commit, because the big or X5 here, he's not in position to guard me if I just reject this and go straight to the rim. Do you agree with that, or what are you thinking here?
I like what you're thinking with that, and that's one of the other built-in options, even just with regular double drag. If the defense is trying to go under, or they're trying to get over that first screen too aggressively, and this is actually where Dennis and Russ were good at this action, is you plant your foot and you just go straight downhill. Yeah. And it's a race between you going forward and the two big man defenders standing almost at the 3-point line, needing to flip their hips and recover. Yeah. And so that was actually the most effective way, and actually what Russ tried to do most of the time and often didn't work because the defense knew that was the only real option. But get downhill if you can. I love icing this. All the stuff we've talked about today, if I'm defending it, you're not going to be able to run any of this stuff because I am icing it. I am maybe showing and recovering the first screen, or I am switching the first screen, or I am switching the first screen while also having that guy jump out. Like, I do not want to allow you the timing of what makes this play effective. Yeah. And if you can make the ball handler reroute and have to go around you, or make them go down strong side, and now it's just basically a normal ice situation, a lot of the magic of double drag loses its luster. And now there are ways to counter all of this, but that is where I would say, all right, let's force the other team to have to adjust and coach and have this in their playbook, and have the players ready to go and identify it live and be able to, realign everything, and, just put the burden on the other team to adjust and coach.
Like you said, in an ideal world, this isn't Wenyan Gabriel. And when Phoenix just decides to switch, I think that's Landry Shamet who just immediately calls out the switch. In an ideal world, Wenyan Gabriel is just able to say, okay, cool, I'm just going to now seal you off. I'm just going to catch this middle of the paint. I'm going to finish at the rim. That's not Wenyan Gabriel's game, obviously, like you mentioned.
Yep,
and
exactly.
Falls into a Scottie Pippen Jr. pull-up three, which is good for him.
Just like they drew it up.
So this is one of my favorite actions the Lakers ran out double drag last season, which they used a ton from Malik Beasley, double drag Oklahoma. Another play which I weirdly don't have in my playbook. I have it in my ATO playbook, if you will, but I've never used it. Essentially, double drag Oklahoma is you have, and the clip is probably up now. You have the first screener being your off-screen shooter. You have Wenyan Gabriel as your second screener, which is the big. And as Austin's going to come off this screen, Wenyan Gabriel, after screening for Austin, is going to go ahead and say another screen, a Ricky screen, Oklahoma screen, whatever you want to call it, for Malik Beasley to come off. Great drop coverage beater. Tim, what is your thought process as we walk through this play?
Yeah, great drop coverage beater, and the pass that you need to make is really close to you. It's coming at you, and if the shot isn't there because the defense does step up, like right here where you're frozen, if the defender were a half step closer to the ball, hit that pocket pass, and if your guy can attack in the short roll, which Wendy Gabriel, I don't know, maybe, but that is another, like, hey, if they defend it, there's just something automatically built in. Attack, get the ball to him. If he gets behind that front line of the defense, again, because of the double drag, because you've got so many bodies pulled up towards half court, you've got a 3v2 with a ball in the middle of the court. So I like this. It's great. You need to have a movement shooter for this to work. But if you run this and you run double drag stagger, those kind of play off each other well, where like Malik Beasley's man, he might be expecting his guy to go one way and then he runs the other. You can't only run this, or the defense can be very aware of it. But this is a good concept. The Lakers only ran this 4 times this past season, scored 2.5 points per possession. They ran it 28 times the prior season, and they didn't score as effectively as I think they should have off of it, but it is a really smart concept.
Really good concept. Who do they run it for those 4 times this season? I'm assuming like Torian and Austin, maybe?
Oh, Lord. Give me a moment. I need to reset my page and go take a look. Let's see here. I pulled some notes. I did not grab all the details. Let's see. This was actually the play that I wanted most, I think, for the team to add this season, and they didn't. Let's see. Okay, so they've got 80 on the roll, Prince spot up, Reeves spot up, LeBron spot up. 3 of the 4 shots were open shots, including 2 at the rim, along with a LeBron heavily contested 3 that he hit. So couldn't tell you exactly how it unfolded, but this is a concept I wanted to see because it seems it would have fit their personnel so well, especially with them starting Torian for so much of the year. Like, if you're going to have him out there, use him in this stuff. You can't just have him standing around, because then really there's no point in having him out there. A lot of the upside with his skill set isn't utilized, and then he ends up not being as good as having Rui.
That's something that both you and I both talked about a ton this season. It was like, hey, let's use Torian Prince as an off-screen guy a little bit more. But I think one of Darvin's biggest downfalls is just like player role utilization and optimization rather. And again, that just kind of feeds into that. Another fun one. So I have this labeled as like double drag, just rip screen the screener. I'm curious what your thought process is here. I think like Gibson Piper like describes this as like double drag Indiana, which he just labels as like a ball screen with the flare screen along with it. If I might be wrong there, but Dallas runs it here. You have Tim Hardaway Jr. setting this rip screen for Maxi Kleba, I think that is, and then as Luka's driving, you're gonna have this screen to screener concept for Tim Hardaway Jr. is gonna come towards the top of the key. If Tim Hardaway Jr. like continues his path over towards like kind of replacing Luka almost, that could have been an open look, but Luka is able to attack right off of this and get right to the rim. LA ran something similar, if not like verbatim to this last season against Memphis, where it's Malik Beasley in the Tim Hardaway Jr. role. Malik Beasley misses a body here, and this is why it should have been effective, because if he actually makes contact on Anthony Davis's man, Xavier Tillman, then in theory, right, Tyus Jones would kind of bump on AD to allow Xavier Tillman to recover, and now you get Bando able to set the screen-to-screener action for Malik Beasley. What are you thinking here, Tim?
So what I immediately noticed with that first play is Luka's man had no help. But like, he is looking to get downhill, and we've got 3 defenders dealing with a lot of action in scoring action on the weak side, and then a strong side corner defender that just isn't going to help. And so if I'm trying to set up kind of a 1v1 drive, this is a good way to go about that. Another, you also want to have that movement shooting, of course, but I like that we've got attacks towards the rim, attacks towards the 3-point line. The Lakers ran this 6 times, not this past year, but the year prior, and scored 1.5 points per possession running.
Oh, yeah.
They were very effective utilizing it, and it's easy to see why. There are just so many options.
So quick, just like personnel, like tidbit. and this is kind of driving me crazy, especially Colin Sexton's guarding ball side corner. And typically the NBA no is, don't help off strong side corner, but like that's Dante Exum strong side corner. So
I'd probably help.
Yeah, that's one. I would probably help. So therefore my immediate response is, and maybe this is hard, right? I don't think every team has, 2 shooters that aren't liabilities defensively, plus you still have your bigs, etc. In a perfect world, we would make this strong side corner do another shooter, right? Or at least a more spot up guy at the very least.
Yeah, I think so for sure.
Yeah,
you want to remove that help.
Yeah, because if this is, I don't know, right? So if you're, I don't think they can feasibly run this lineup because they're going to really struggle defensively. But let's say this is Luka, Kyrie, Tim Hardaway Jr., Maxi Kleber, Derek Lively, and in the corner, strong side, this is either Kyrie or Tim Hardaway Jr. Like you're in a really good spot if you're Dallas on this possession.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I mean, a lot of times teams just won't help off the strong side corner. So if the guy can sort of shoot, you will probably get away with that.
Yeah. And I like how Beasley, instead of he just reads the jump out on the pass from Tyus Jones and immediately just kind of flares out to the wing, gets an open 3 out of it. Again, really fun action. This is even like more fun. I loved how Charlotte ran it, where they, again, you can kind of get some blind pig here. He just cuts over the top, and you still get Terry Rozier. He comes all the way over for this one, and then he's just able to tack off the drive and get to the floater. Charlotte, as bad as they are, whenever I find myself going to go watch some ball screen film on them or whatever with LaMelo, I always find myself finding a play or two of theirs. So I'm like, damn, that's really cool.
Yeah, they've got some good creative stuff. I think their play calling frequency itself could be better. I think their roster can certainly be better. But yeah, there's some interesting things. They're definitely a team worth watching if you want to, pick out a couple things here and there you like from a ball screen perspective. Something you called out, Sean, that blind pick on the strong side. With a lot of these plays too, if you want to set up that corner guy, let's say LeBron's in that strong side corner, and you're running like double drag stagger or Oklahoma or Veer or any of that, maybe not Veer, but if you want to have him cut and then duck in, there's a lot of window dressing, and he's going to get a good 1v1 look.
There's a lot of open space there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we're talking here, right? So again, we're like reimagine this and just pretend Kelly Oubre is LeBron essentially, right?
Yep.
And okay, so I'm assuming this guy that is getting the rip screen, you just want him. I think he actually does do it eventually. Yeah, just immediately pop back out to the corner. But he has to do it a little bit quicker though. That's like a little like ticky tack thing here with the timing.
If he actually flares out like the Mavs ran it, like Kleba running to the corner instead of it going to the rim, that's better. I think this and the Veer are probably the worst examples here because you actually have a guy cutting at the rim as you're running the play.
Yeah, so like
here, nobody's going to the rim. Yep,
right.
Exactly.
Okay, so we're saying, okay, go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, right here, exactly where you have it paused. At this point in time, I want LeBron already cutting and going to set up because look how far away everybody else is and how they're all worrying about something else.
Yeah.
That would be a great time to let's go post up at that right block and just go to work.
Yeah. No, that is awesome. A really fun concept. I feel like I've said the words fun and favorite the entire show, but I mean, truly, double drag stuff is really, really fun. You can get really creative with it. And honestly, maybe it's because I didn't notice it a ton until this season, but the Lakers, as much as we want to criticize Darvin, and you can attest this better than anybody, the playbook itself, in terms of things that are functionally in it, is really, really cool. It's more so the play calling frequency that sucks. But this, Tim, is one of the more, and especially the way they ran against Denver in game 4. No, yeah, game 4, I think. No, crap, game 5. My bad. I apologize. The way they ran in game 5 was so fun to me and so neat, to the point where I think I even put this on X, where I think I labeled it wrong at first, but because it was so bizarre watching in real time, I think I titled it just something dumb. And I think I said shallow stack with I just went nuts with the labeling. So I would love for you to walk us through here with a really creative like counter, combining two of my favorite actions together: double drag and stack / Spain pick and roll.
Yeah, so this is something the Lakers ran 4 times this season. I would love to have seen it more. We're going to get the double drag screen.
Yeah.
And then after that is happening, it's interesting to see them use both of the same players in this. It's not because sometimes you can have like both corners filled and one of the corner guys jump in and then be the one setting that screen. But we get D'Lo setting the back screen for AD. It's cleared out. There's nobody in the corner looking for that lob. Eventually, they end up scoring anyway and won. But the setup here, and it's a good soft hedge or drop coverage beater. We see Sabonis. He's not trying to get the ball out of Austin's hands. He's just trying to contain until Austin's man recovers. And so getting that back screen on him, I don't know who that defender is, but they do a good job. Not Sabonis, the other guy.
It's like Kobe Jones. Okay. Like from this angle.
At least in this moment, he doesn't let AD get behind him. Austin wants to throw that lob, but it's not there. But, I like this concept. Stack in general is really good against drop coverage or soft hedging, especially drop coverage. And it was a big weakness of Lakers playbook. So when they did go to it, it was fun seeing good results from it. And to your point, the playbook itself was decent this year and actually really good. I'd say it was really good. Just the play calling needed to be much better.
Okay, so I'm going to walk you through what my process was. I was labeling this. I think at first I tried to label this as, this wide pin reject into like stack with this. Okay, my thought process here was a lot of times when the Lakers go to like their wide pin series in the middle of the floor, they'll just have, and Braun does it here from my angle watching this live. It just happens where Braun immediately goes through. So watching it live, I'm thinking, oh, okay, we're going like wide reject to a certain extent, especially when I see Torian start to come up a little bit more too. I'm thinking, okay, cool. They're going to Spain pick and roll stack action out of the wide series, out of the wide pin down series. And it turns into just stack action. And you have roller with Jackson Hayes. Torian fills up. Braun also pops out. And Spencer Dinwiddie is wide open. Torian's also just wide open too, honestly, to where Dinwiddie is more open. So that's why the pass right here is made, where this is a tough angle to get to Torian. But if he is able to get it there, that's also technically open. And Dinwiddie makes a pretty big shot in the point of the game where the Lakers had lost all their momentum. So shout out Tim for like correctly labeling this play. So Tim, what's going through your head when you watch the Lakers run this play live?
So I may have labeled this incorrectly in the moment. I don't know. I was labeling this literally live, but you've got your double drag. This is one that is almost more of a kind of a roll and replace, basically. Yeah. And what's fun about that is Torian's man is the low man, or he was there for a moment. Yeah. And so he would traditionally be the one to tag Jackson Hayes rolling. And if he does that, even if Hayes and Prince don't actually screen for each other at all, we're going to end up with two guys on Jackson and then Torian wide open just because they run by each other, and it messes up your defensive rotations in a similar way to how like double drag shallow can kind of mess with your rotation. So that to me is like right here. I would love this ball to go to Torian, maybe one more dribble in
right now.
Yeah, right now, because we've got Porter worried about Hayes. I know Reggie Jackson's also way over. He probably doesn't need to be. But either way, even without that, like the Torian part of this, that concept worked, and he is open right now. Or if not, it's like a desperate closeout by Jokic or MPJ.
Yeah. In a perfect world, defensively, if I'm Denver, you probably just want Reggie like just playing two here, playing Dinwiddie and playing Prince taking the first pass. And again, in the perfect world, you probably want MPJ to take the second pass. So I don't know, ball gets swung out to Torian Prince. Reggie Jackson isn't this far into the paint, and on the kick out, Reggie just takes whoever gets the first pass. So ball gets swung out to Torian. Reggie is there, able to arrive on the pass. In a perfect world, from a Lakers lens, I'm obviously ecstatic that Reggie Jackson's playing. So damn far off of Spencer Dinwiddie.
Well, and part of the reason why that has to be the case, whether it's Porter or Jackson, like one of them has to actually get in front of Hayes, or you can just throw the lob. That's why having a lob threat and all of these concepts here is really important, because rotationally, you can't just kind of be near them. You actually have to get in front of them to stop the roll. Yep. And that, gives you the extra, that's one extra step or a step and a half that the defense is away from the shooters that you're spraying out to.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, Tim, anything else you want to cover double drag related before we let you out of here? This is honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I don't ever really get nervous, but this is the first episode I didn't know how this would go, and us going 50 minutes talking just schematics, X's and O's, double drag stuff. I obviously put you on the spot at the beginning. Anything else that we didn't cover with double drag related stuff that you want to go over?
I think the only other thing I'd want to talk through is we've got, like, with the double drag, you need those three guys doing what they're doing. The two screens, the ball handler. With the other two players, we've seen some plays where they're in each corner. We've seen some plays where they're both on the same wing. I don't think we've seen anything here where there's an exit screen, but that is something you could look to do and have that on. Let's say you're in the left wing running the double drag towards the right side of the court, get that exit screen also towards the right side of the court, which just kind of makes it harder. There's just more space for your rolling on the left side of the court. Could be something you look to do. You could try to this would be a weird alignment, but if you've got your double drag on the left wing, right wing, and then right dunker, you could try to run like a hammer flare potentially. Yeah. Like you could try to get creative with what's going on between the other two defenders in the play. But even just the bread and butter stuff, man, this works. And as long as you're able to identify what the defense is in, everything we've talked about today equips you to run some sort of counter. Yeah. So drop, hedging, soft hedge, hard hedge, whatever they're in, you can get to some good stuff with this. If the defense is trying to hard hedge, you can even run this further and further up the court and then hit your roll man. And if that's a Draymond Green kind of guy, or even like an Anthony Davis, one of these guys that can attack downhill, read the floor, make the right decision, you can get some really good looks. And you've taken an extra two players out of the play by including them in that screening action.
Yeah, I think I'm glad I was able to have you on for this episode, especially going over double drag. Like, again, one of the more effective concepts in basketball that I didn't include every team. I think I showed like 10-ish teams in this breakdown, but I think every team, like you said at the start, Tim, every team on every level can run this. It's more so just about personnel. One, I think, obviously, with a lot of concepts, personnel is the most important thing, but it counters a lot of like modern day defenses, which are going to play a lot more drop, maybe some more soft hedgy stuff like you talked about earlier. And again, it's super, super effective, and I freaking love it, man. It's so fun.
It's so fun. Ice it though. Ice it, show and recover, switch the first grade. Like, there are ways to slow this down. But maybe that could be another time I come back. We could talk about ice counters and all that good stuff, because the defenses are important too. I'm definitely an offensive guy in terms of how I like to. I feel like the Lakers have forced me into that because I've just diagrammed every play. But this is good stuff, Sean. I appreciate being here, and keep up the great work. I'm excited to see what you end up doing with this as you get more and more people on.
Yeah, for sure. All right, guys, make sure you guys go check out all of Tim's great work. I'll make sure I put the link down below. Go check out the Lakers Exceptionalism podcast. Anywhere you get your podcast. Tim, like I said, one of the best in the business, does a great job. And Tim, once again, thank you so much for being the first guest. And until next time, everybody, see ya, stay safe, and peace out.